we begin with breaking news. Today, the Manhattan DA indicting one of Donald Trump's longest-serving and most senior executives, CFO Allen Weisselberg, who surrendered to authorities at 6:20 a.m. this morning, walking into court for his booking. You can see the photo there. And finding his indictment and the process through arraignment for a $1.7 million scheme at Trump Org. He is finding that is swiftly changing his whole life today. Because here he was hours later, taken by police in handcuffs to the booking appearance where he surrendered his passport and pled not guilty. And it's worth taking a look at what the legal and psychological reality is today. The 73-year-old Trump executive, you see here, marched like this because his hands are behind his back. And as you turn and you get the camera shot, he is cuffed like any other routine defendant, handcuffed in custody for arraignment. A sobering experience for someone who sources say resisted opportunities to tell investigators the truth or cooperate. Weisselberg faces 15 counts for a range of charges, from larceny to tax evasion to falsifying records. It shows the DA here, Cy Vance, meant business during this multi-year probe. And Nicole and I were just discussing aspects of this. I got to tell you, that alone would be a big deal today. A top Trump executive indicted, cuffed, 15 counts. But it's not the only headline. Weeks ago, here on The Beat, we were reporting on the legal avenue to potentially indict the entire Trump organization. Today, that is exactly what the DA did. As the New York Times put it simply, the Trump organization charged in a 15-year tax scheme. The former president's entire company hit with multiple crimes like tax fraud, false statements, filings, and instruments, plus an obstruction count for falsifying or destroying records. And prosecutors say they have the receipts. Citing this kind of evidence, spreadsheets, tax returns, documents, some which are directly implicating or including Donald Trump himself, a reference to his signature on the very checks that prosecutors now say are criminal evidence for the conspiracy. That includes tuition payments. That's the signature in the Sharpie we all know. For a businessman who pushes limits and touts all his supposed victories, this was, objectively, the worst day the Trump organization has ever had.
Believe it or not, we have so much more breaking news. Donald Trump's money man has turned himself in.
As far as the Trump organization, it's tough to put handcuffs around buildings.
They have thrown the kitchen sink at the Trump organization and Allen Weisselberg. This is very bad news.
I think in 244 years, we have not had a local prosecutor go after a former president of the United States or his employees or his company.
Legal experts see today's indictment as potentially a first step for prosecutors to try to compel Weisselberg to cooperate.
Now, until today, we had basic, limited information about the probe and some clues from witnesses, including those we've interviewed. Now we have the case. We have a lot more details. And the scene inside the courtroom, you had Weisselberg there, seated, masked, separated by still COVID-related plexiglass. His attorneys were there. And the DA's lawyers told the judge what the case is, this new detail that I'm telling you we're learning, that the scheme was orchestrated by the most senior executives with an intentional, elaborate conspiracy running from 2005 through effectively yesterday to defraud federal, New York, state, and city tax authorities, and to stash hundreds of thousands of dollars, a sum greater than most people's salaries, in disguised payments that were, as prosecutors put it so starkly, off the books. That's it. You can boil the DA's case down to a classic gangster move. Hide income, as the Beatnuts and Big Pun once put it, off the books. They told us it's off the hook this year. Making mad money, off the books this year. Ain't nothing but crooks in here getting mad money, off the books this year. Well, that's the gangster stuff that the DA says the Trump organization does on a daily basis with its CFO off the books for allegedly 15 years. And the Beatnuts are right. If these individuals are convicted, they would be crooks in here.